And welcome back to the Bashor Children's Home 99 Club, giving voice to the most vulnerable children and the experts who help them. I'm your host, Vince Turner, and we're celebrating 99 years of helping children and their families. And we've created the Bashor Children's Home 99 Club. We're searching for 99 people who will give $99. Starting to get the picture here. And if you are one of them, you get one of these exclusive 99 Club t-shirts. Trust me, if it looks okay on me, it's going to look great on you. And you help neglected children in our community. Join us. Go to bashor.org and click donate. Join the 99 Club. Our thanks to Irish Dave, our producer, who filled in during my last two absences during the podcast. Family stuff, got to celebrate a graduation in Fairhope, Alabama. Very nice. The world's most beautiful grandchild graduated from high school. And then, no, not at all. And then Sir Beef-A-Lot was the last time was in the Notre Dame football camp. 6'6", 265 pounds. That's why we call him Beef-A-Lot, because it takes a lot of beef. So we got to celebrate that as well. Again, thanks to Dave for filling in. But we are back, and we are back with Lori Harrington, who is the Director of Community-Based and Clinical Support Services. Lori, welcome. Glad you're with us.
Thank you for having me.
So first of all, tell us just a little bit about Lori, how long you've been here, what brought you here, some of your background, etc.
Sure. I am a licensed clinical social worker. So I have always kind of done counseling and that sort of thing, working with kids and families. Yeah. I've been at Bashor for 13 years now, as of June 1st.
Wow.
Prior to that, I was at the Mental Health Association and then at CAPS.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So you've got stories to tell. Yeah, you've got stories to tell. But obviously you have a passion as well. And that's to reach those that Bashor serves, both the children and the family.
Yeah, Bashor was a perfect fit.
Or in some cases, like radio producers. Can we get a list and work on Irish Dave? Yeah. Well, have you seen the last two shows? Yeah. It's okay. All right. Lori, what specifically brought you to Bashor?
Well, I was the executive director of the Mental Health Association at the time.
Okay.
And we were having actually some financial issues.
Okay.
Started talking to Don Phillips, the CEO at the time, about what might make sense. Some of the programming we were offering made sense to come under Bashor's umbrella. And so we merged with Bashor and became the Community-Based Services Department.
Oh, my.
So, yeah.
And so you've been out on campus, this beautiful campus, for some time.
Yes.
Need to take a quick minute and say thank you to our underwriting sponsors. Don't want to forget that. Obico, New Way Construction, Patrick Industries, and Genesis Products. Especially Obico. We don't want Jason coming after me. That would not be pretty. But let's talk about, first of all, the global picture. The help for today, the hope for tomorrow. That's been with us as our mission statement for a long, long time. How do you personally put that into practice, the help for today and the hope for tomorrow?
Well, one of the goals that we have really is to sort of put our residential side of the business out of business. Do I think that will ever happen? Probably not. But that is the goal. We want to start looking at more preventative and early intervention services so that hopefully we can keep kids from being in residential and really getting that hope for today and hope for tomorrow.
So, and then the list of community-based services then goes on and on and on. When I was going through the list, one of the things that popped out at me right away, because I was here when we really put that together, and it was one of our first community-based projects, and that was the We Can Help program. And it has survived and thrived.
It has. So We Can Help is a free service that we provide. People can literally just call our number, ask for We Can Help, and we can help connect them with services that make sense for what their concerns are. Sometimes that is us meeting with them one-on-one for some coaching. Sometimes that is, helping get them connected to another agency in the area that has what they're needing and looking for.
I want to look at, especially at the We Can Help aspect of it. Can you give us kind of an example of a family that has been in crisis, an individual who reached out to you where you were able to walk them through their specific challenges at the time?
I guess what comes to mind right away for me is a very recent one. We had a walk-in family. It was a mom and a son.
Okay.
The mother was kind of at her wit's end, felt like her son was, he was using drugs. He wasn't listening to her. He wasn't coming home. She said, I don't know what to do. I need him to be somewhere. So Brad Miller and I, he's with our shelter.
He's a previous guest.
Okay.
Yeah, you're already better than he was.
He and I talked to her, and we were able to offer a short-term stay in our shelter and then also connect him with one of our outpatient therapists so that we could continue to provide, the short-term stay provided a little bit of respite, giving the family a break, but also then ongoing services that we were able to.
And that's one of the neat things about the We Can Help umbrella. People who, as you described, literally at their wits' end. But you have so many opportunities where you can go in this direction, you can go in that direction. And as you said, it doesn't necessarily involve residential care. It doesn't necessarily mean quote unquote business for Bashor, but it's an opportunity for you to kind of walk alongside somebody who has nowhere else to walk.
Absolutely. And we've had a number of calls recently where it just really made sense for them to maybe connect with our Partnership for Children in Elkhart County, which is not Bashor. But the service made sense for the family. They had no idea it existed. We made the referral and made the connection for them.
Want to talk about teen court because it involves the kids themselves. Yes. This is an opportunity, and the early stages of teen court, when I had the opportunity to witness, kind of what they do, and boy, hats off to Magistrate Deb Dominy. She was so invested in this program in the beginning and really helped us get this going. But it's an opportunity for kids, not just to, for lack of a better word, sit in judgment of their peers, but it's also an opportunity for them to look at, but for the grace of God, there goes I, kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about teen court.
Sure. So teen court is a diversionary program. Typically, the cases that we get are first-time offenders. So it might be a kid who got in a fight at school, but it's their first fight. Or we've had kids who vandalized a park. They were being silly with their friends. It was a dare, whatever. But so rather than go in the formal system, they end up getting on an informal contract through probation, which means they're not really on probation. But they get referred to our programs. So they will actually go through a teen court hearing where all of our judges are actual judges and attorneys who volunteer their time. And then our volunteers are either teens or also we have college students now. We have a pre-law person volunteering as the attorney for the program. All of the jury members are teens, and they can either be volunteers or that's also part of oftentimes the consequences they receive from the teen court.
Yeah.
So they're literally having, a jury of their peers decide consequences for them. And those consequences have to be upheld, or it could possibly go to the juvenile court system. But the really awesome thing is if they successfully complete, the charge that they have does not stay on their term record.
Well, what an opportunity that is.
It's an amazing opportunity. And like you said, too, sitting in judgment of their peers, but I think the jury duty is one of the most amazing things that the kids can participate in because it really makes them stop and think critically. And they learn a lot about just kind of how the system works and what they need to pay attention to.
Well, and for some of those youngsters, they've been involved in the system. And it's their opportunity to see, wow, it's not exact. They'd always looked at it as something of a threat. Yes. And they're looking at, well, maybe it's not exactly what I thought it was. What are kids on both sides? The kids who go through teen court, but also those who sit on the jury. What are those youngsters telling you?
We hear a lot that they learned a lot about the law. They learned a lot about the system and why certain things are in place the way that they are, rather than just, well, I don't like that, so I'm going to do it anyway. Well, okay, here's what happens if you do, and here's why that is in place, and here's why maybe this is protecting you. And then also just that it's been a great experience. We've had quite a few kids who've gone through the process who then stay on as volunteers.
Okay. You're listening to the Bashor 99 Club. This is Lori Harrington. She's in charge of community-based and clinical support services, a ball of fire. And, it just apparently Don and Sean have just said, let's give Lori one more thing to do. And you've come up with this wonderful list. Another one on the list is stop lifting.
Stop lifting is a one-time class. It's also a diversion program like Teen Court. But first-time shoplifters, they go through the class. They have to bring their parents, so they're all learning the same thing. Yeah. And also an apology letter for the store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then we forward that apology letter.
Wow.
So, but again, the theft charge does not show up on the
Mhm.
record if they complete.
I'm curious there, what's the reaction from the retail merchants when something like this happens?
I've had a couple reach out over the years
Mm-hmm.
and say, wait, what is this? Why am I getting this? And then saying, oh, that's really cool.
Mhm.
We're glad you're doing that.
Do you find shoplifting seems to be one of, and it cuts across all age groups. But shoplifting seems to be one of those things, maybe one of many things that youngsters don't quite understand how serious the consequences can be.
They have no idea. I don't think they have any idea how serious the consequences can be. And even their parents oftentimes don't quite get that. They don't understand why they had to do this. And then the store maybe also is asking for hundreds and hundreds of dollars when their kids stole a blister pack of aspirin.
Mhm.
Or, why is that? Well, let's explain the cost to the store, the cost to the customer, and the cost, and they don't understand that above a certain amount, it can be a felony.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
and it's and shoplifting in many ways can be an entry for young people into many more serious things. So, if you get an opportunity to stop it here, it can be an advantage.
Definitely. And I mean, the kids, a lot of times when it's kids, it's a dare.
Oh,
It's
okay.
for the thrill.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is that thrill can be a little addictive. So we want to make sure that we understand what the consequences are rather than just going for that thrill.
That's interesting. That's it. Obviously, you've had chats, therapeutic chats with some of the people who've been involved in that. I hadn't thought about it from the standpoint that it could become addicting.
Mhm.
And addictive behavior, another one of those things we have to address.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, you want to get a t-shirt like this? All you got to do is join the 99 Club. The Bashor 99 Club, we're looking for $99 from 99 people. Go to bashor.org. It's your opportunity to support this terrific organization. And if you donate tonight, just make a little note in the donation note that you heard Lori so that we can, give her a lot of applause and say, hey, you raised a whole lot more than that McCrindle kid did when he was on the last time. So we'll put that out as a challenge.
I like that.
All right, all of you out there who are Lori's friends, let's make McCrindle look bad. Yeah, send it in. All right, let's talk about transparenting. This is a program that really intrigued me.
So transparenting is a court-ordered program
Mhm.
for adults getting a divorce who have children under the age of 18. So it's sort of an unusual name. People don't always understand. It's
Mhm.
for transitions is basically what the transparenting is. And the idea behind this class is teaching parents what affects their kids as they go through divorce. How do you get through this divorce and have your kids get out of it in a healthy, happy way?
Mhm.
What are things you talk about and don't talk about? How do you co-parent positively as you go through the divorce and into the future so that it does not negatively affect your children?
Have you seen success stories come out of this?
We have had people reach out and seek other types of services from us, and usually that's right here because that's a one-time class.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of, kind of statistics per se on that one. But we have had people reach out and say, look, that was really great information. I know you said you have counseling available.
Mhm. Is it an eye opener for parents?
It can be. We do evaluations obviously after every class.
Right.
And as I read the comments, a lot of times what I see is, wow, I never thought about how saying this could hurt the kids, or how fighting in front of the kids or arguing in front of the kids can affect them.
From a therapeutic standpoint, one of the things that happens, at least I believe, is that you get so lost in that battle that you're fighting with each other that you forget where the collateral damage can come. And that's where you come in.
Yeah, it's not usually intentional from parents. They
Right.
don't want to hurt their children,
Mhm.
but they're so caught up in their negative feelings.
Yeah, and it gets away from them. I don't want to just march through the list of programs. And I mean, we'll get back to that, and we will go through some of the list of the programs. But another thing I did want to talk to you about is, so how do you do it? How do you? I mean, first of all, there are a lot of programs here.
There are.
But there are a lot of needs, and with those needs come emotions, and with those emotions come days, I'm sure, where you just want to turn out the lights, go sit in a chair, and just go, oh. So what carries you through this mission? Because you're obviously you're energized by the mission,
I am.
but sooner or later the battery starts to run a little low.
Self-care is huge. And honestly, social workers and those of us who work with kids in social services are really bad at self-care typically. For me, I really just need to unplug.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an introvert by nature. So part of that is,
Say what?
yeah, I am.
You are faking it till you make it, girl. This
That's
is
something I can't
terrific.
talk
Yeah.
about like
Oh,
people.
okay.
It's just that when I'm exhausted, I need to recharge with some alone.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's reading, it's spending time with family, it's spending time in nature.
Yeah. So if you're an introvert, when you spend too much time with someone like me, you just go crawl into a ball in a corner sometime and say, I hope he goes away.
The funny thing is my husband's an extrovert.
Oh, yeah?
So it can be interesting sometimes.
Just go away, go mow the lawn, go do something. But that perspective you have then, are you able to help carry that over to staff who I'm sure can also get drained really quick?
I mean, I think I try to. I don't know how successful I am always. In our department in particular, I think we do a really good job of using each other as supports. We're able to talk about anything. Sometimes it's one of those, I just need to vent.
Yeah.
Come in your office moments. Absolutely. Come on in, open door.
Lori, tell us about the staff here on campus. I mean, you have that. You have not just the clinical aspect, but you have the heart aspect. Just tell us a little bit about the warriors that are here making things happen.
Every single staff here, from youth care workers who are with our kids on the floor their entire shift. I mean, they spend most of the time with the kids, to clinicians, to family service coordinators, you name it. I think you stay at Bashor because you love the kids and you love the work and you're passionate about it. Yeah. And they just do amazing things. We have some of the best people.
So the ropes course, does that fall into your?
That is not mine. That is Sarah Sark's in our therapy department, but it's cool.
Have you been on the ropes course?
I have seen the ropes course. I haven't been on it.
Oh.
In 13 years, I haven't been on it. But
how have you gotten out of it in 13 years?
I don't know. Actually, I'm not scared of it.
Yeah. You probably don't have the time based on this list.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about another program. Let's talk about Seasons.
So Seasons is kind of the kids' version of transparenting. So we have 3 age groups.
That's right.
Age groups for the kids, so that the material can sort of be, geared towards that age group. But we have kids from ages 6 to 9, 10 to 13, and then 14 to 17, who all will take a class while their parents are taking transparenting. They will come and take Seasons. And so we talk to the kids about, what do you know about what's going on? How are you feeling? How do you talk to your parents in a non-confrontational way about how you're feeling, or an appropriate way? And just kind of giving them, normalizing some of it for them and helping them have some basic coping skills that they can walk away with.
Is there a common question or two or a common thought or two that young people share when they're going through the Seasons class?
It really varies. We did, a number of years ago, though, we did ask the kids. So we wanted to gather some information to add to some of our transparenting stuff. We asked them, what do you think your parents have done well and that has been helpful through this divorce? And what do you think they have not done so well or that you feel has hurt you in some way? Okay. And so they all kind of say a lot of the same things. And it is the things that are hurtful is bad-mouthing the other parent. Even things as little as just not accepting help from the other parent, not being kind. They pick up on, even when they're not bad-mouthing, they pick up on you're just not being civil with each other. Arguing in front of the kids, things like that. And the things that has been really helpful is just being nice to each other.
Kids at times, and I guess it would depend on the age, will sometimes blame themselves.
Absolutely.
How do you help them walk through that? How do you help them walk through that?
I mean, it's a 3-hour class, so we don't have a lot of time to really.
Come on, you're miracle workers here.
But we kind of give them the basics. Say, hey, this is not your fault. This is the kind of stuff parents go through. That has nothing to do with kids. And, it can be helpful to talk to your parents about that. And how do we do that? And one of the things that we really do stress in transparenting as well is your kids need to be hearing from you. This is not your fault. And yes, we're here to listen. And all of these things that maybe they're afraid to say to you or ask.
And then they carry through it. So if you take transparenting and Seasons together and walk somebody through that, what does success look like?
Success looks like a family that puts the kids first.
Mm.
That, sometimes it's simply swallowing the pride, which is often difficult in a divorce situation, and communicating.
Mm.
Because I think the one theme I've heard across the board from families is, I don't want to talk to this person. And so they only talk about things when they're angry or stressed. And that's not when it's particularly helpful for the kids.
So do you see success more often than we would imagine?
I think so. Yeah. For the times that we don't.
Yeah. They seem to stand out a little bit more. Yeah.
2 new services that we're offering.
Okay, let's talk about those. Yeah.
Domestic relations mediation.
Okay.
So folks who maybe are considering a divorce, but want to try and do it in a more civil manner rather than going through the court system, which, it's not cooperative when you go through court. It's just not designed to be. And mediation is designed to be more cooperative, and they have a little more control sometimes over, what are things that we can just kind of cooperate about and figure out together. And this is not something that we have to be difficult with each other.
Yeah.
I know I'm not saying that the way I want to, but we offer that. And then we also are now offering parent coordination. And that is something that is typically going to be court ordered with families that have long-standing high conflict in their situations. Maybe they've been divorced for years, but they keep ending up back in court.
Yeah.
And so the whole idea of that is to try and help the families reduce that conflict. And again, and it's a longer term. It can be up to a 2-year appointment from the court to work with these families to try and get them kind of on the same page.
Excuse me.
Okay.
But there's still that giant myth that you have to deal with throughout all these programs is, kids are resilient. They're going to be okay.
Yeah.
and you've heard that one before.
I've heard that one before. And kids are resilient. Absolutely.
Excuse me.
But they also carry an awful lot on their shoulders that I think adults often don't realize that they do. They take it personally. They put it on themselves. And they start feeling responsible for things that they are not responsible for. And I would say, from residential to even a lot of our outpatient clients that we see, there's a lot of trauma that is sort of the base of that.
Yeah.
And all trauma isn't the extremes of trauma. People can be traumatized at different levels, and that affects how they behave and work in the world.
These programs are, I don't want to use the word exciting because the problem's not exciting, but these programs are energizing because as I remember back during my tenure here on campus, the overwhelming majority of the young people who were in our care, whether it was in the residential programs or in the alternative school, had gone through some type of domestic debate, whether it was divorce, whether it was single parent situation or whatever. And these programs just really seem to cut to the heart of what the young people deal with.
Certainly hope so. And hopefully we can get it early enough on that we can help them before it affects them too negatively. And we're offering outpatient counseling. I think I've mentioned that before too. I'm really excited to grow that clinic. And we're not growing the clinic to be competition for other people,
right?
But it's to meet a need that is truly out there.
Well, and it's not just out there, it's here. I mean, it's your deal with the parents who you see, with the kids who come to the programs, et cetera, et cetera. It's terrific. Hey, we're talking to Lori Harrington. Isn't she good? Wow. We could do this program for a while. She is the Director of Community-Based and Clinical Support Services. Want to say a big, big thank you to our underwriting sponsors, Obico Corporation, New Way Construction, Patrick Industries, and Genesis Products. Thanks, folks. We really appreciate you supporting this program. Also, remember that you can support us as well through the Bashor 99 Club. $99 from 99 people gets us to our goal through these podcasts. You get a nice little t-shirt that you can brag about. Like I said, hey, if it looks decent on me, it's going to look really good on you. And you go to bashor.org. Also at bashor.org, we should point out all of these programs that Lori and I have chatted about very briefly, more details at bashor.org. Also, ways to get in contact with Lori and her staff and her partners. If something here has piqued your interest, she's certainly ready to answer your questions, Lori and her staff as well. So let's talk about Stop Skipping as we go down the list.
Okay, so Stop Skipping started out as just a class. We have started working collaboratively with CAPS and probation. Concord School is actually piloting with us a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So we're calling it Chronic Truancy Intervention Program. So we still have the class. And what we're doing right now is while we're having a class with the kids, so Bashor's doing the kids class, CAPS is doing a triple P parenting version. So the parents are hearing, okay, what is behind truancy and how do I help my kids? Well, I'm talking to the kiddos about, all right, what's really going on here, guys? Why are you missing school and what can we do to help? Then from there, if they continue to skip, they can make a referral back to our program, and we're basically doing like a truancy court where we'll have the judge there, we'll have a jury there, but what we're going to come out of that with, rather than consequences, is a plan. A plan that says, okay, these are the things I'm saying are the reasons I'm not going. These are some things we can try to implement to improve that, and they can keep coming back to that if for some reason they're not following it.
This program seems as though it would couple really well with some of the other programs we've already talked about, that when you get involved in the stop skipping aspect of things, it would reveal, okay, why aren't you going to school? What's the problem here? It would reveal other issues that we can talk about through some of these other programs.
Yes. And we've had kids, it reveals maybe somebody's not going because they're being bullied. Spoke to a young lady at a recent class who, so interestingly enough, COVID played into it.
Oh, okay.
She was actually doing fairly well pre-COVID, year and a half going virtual, time to transition back to regular school, and her anxiety was just off the charts.
Oh, wow.
And so she wasn't going. And so, okay, what can we do about the anxiety? Do you need counseling? Do you need to just talk to somebody about some coping skills? What have you tried already?
And then you're able to, as we said,
kind of plug in,
deal what the background was, and put those things together.
Exactly.
Neat. And finally, guided family intervention program.
So that one is actually also a diversion program.
Okay.
So, and actually I didn't mention before, but with Stop Lifting, Teen Court, and GFIP, we receive our referrals through probation.
Okay.
And the kids are on an informal contract. So with GFIP, we typically get kiddos who have run away or were charged with incorrigibility. So basically, for people who don't know what that is, not listening to your parents chronically.
Okay.
And so usually behind that, there's something going on at home.
Okay.
So what the Guided Family Intervention Program provides is short-term solution-focused counseling. What got you here? What are some things one or two things that we can work on that might improve that situation? A lot of times it's something like communication. Mom and kid aren't communicating in a way that they're understanding each other, or they're taking offense. Maybe we just talk about some I statements. We talk about,
yes,
some things that help them communicate better so that some of these things don't come up again in the future.
So as we look at our programs, and again, Bashor.org, you can get a complete list of these programs. Lori and her staff, others here at Bashor, would be more than happy to chat with you about some of these things that can make a difference in your life, a difference in your children's life. You can make referrals if you know someone that needs some help. But okay, let's put the Lori Harrington wish list up there.
Okay.
If the fairy were to land and have the wand and just say, Lori, these things are going to be available to you as we look into the future. This is what the community, this is what the children's home, this is what other organizations are going to come together and provide you. So we put the perfect Lori Harrington wish list together.
Wow, that's tough. I think I would just want to grow everything that we have, quite honestly. Make it so that we can serve more people.
Okay.
So a lot of that's going to, gotta be able to pay people to hire people.
That's right. Yeah.
I would love to hire more therapists. I would love to hire more people that can provide programming in teen court. I'd love to be able to get us out into the schools doing some of that as well.
Right.
Really starting in where some of these issues start. Not that they start at the school, but that's where you see them a lot of times because they're out in the community, mostly at school.
Well, not to get too deep into the headlines or the 6 o'clock news, but certainly mental health has moved to the very top of the list of what we're talking about in this country right now. And for the services that you provide and for the people who provide them, hopefully we can get you the tools that you're going to need.
That would be amazing.
Well, you are amazing. This has been a fun half hour. Tell McCrindle to start treating you with more respect.
Treats me with plenty of respect.
Oh, goodness. Lori Harrington.
Not say anything, Sean.
Actually, she gave me this list, Sean, but that's we're talking with Lori Harrington. She is the Director of Community-Based and Clinical Support Service resources. Hey, a lot of fun being back behind the microphone again. Thanks to Irish Dave, our producer, for sitting in for these last 2 weeks. Be sure to join us for the 99 Club. One more plug. $99 gets you this t-shirt, gets you a part of the 99 Club, but even more important, it gets you to be active and involved. Surely out of all of the programs that we just walked through with Lori Harrington, there is one that pushes your button. Well, if that pushes your button, then you go push the donate button at bashor.org and make things happen. Once again, the Bashor 99 Club, I'm Vince Turner. Thanks for joining us.